special teams coordinator Tanner Burns with us. The Flames had their first punt return for a touchdown here this past weekend, and did some good things on kickoff return and some other good things as well. Tanner, just your thoughts on how the unit performed here this past Saturday, the good, the bad, what you were able to take away from it.
Yeah, obviously start with the bad first. Anytime you have a 1-yard punt, it's tough to come back from that. I think our defense's starting field position in the first half was the minus 42-yard line, which is putting them in a bad spot. In the second half, I believe it was the minus 16-yard line. So just, making a point to those guys, our job is to, win the field position battle. In the first half, we didn't do it with what's resulted in a lot of points for them. And in the second half, we did it, and I think they scored in the first series of the game, and then held them scoreless after that. So those type of deals kind of help you preach, or guys listen more maybe to what you've been preaching of bad situations. Obviously, you don't want to be put in those bad situations and eliminate those. And obviously, I'm proud of how the guys responded in the second half. Jason Stricker stepped up and hit 3 touchbacks into the wind, and obviously the big punt return which was a big momentum changer in the game.
Tanner, let's start with the decision to go to Jason Stricker there in the second half. What led to that?
Yeah, we all have jobs to do. I got a job to do as a special teams coordinator. The rest of the coaches on our staff have jobs to do just as players do. And I feel like we have a good kickoff team, and we can't kick the balls out of bounds or not kick them where we're supposed to kick them. It's been a close competition the last few weeks in practice. Stricker's done a good job stepping it up and competing with those guys, and I felt like it was his opportunity he earned the right to go in the game, and obviously he performed well when he got the opportunity.
Max has done such a great job up until really this past Saturday. He had done a really great job. You go to Aiden there. Was it still nice to be able to get him back out there after such a long layoff?
Yes, it is. Right now we've got a good problem to have, and we've got 2 good punters. There's a lot of teams across the country who are looking for one. Obviously, Max, has been performing well. Previous to this week, he was disappointed. We were all disappointed. Felt, the point we were in the game, Aiden was a veteran guy. There was heavy wind. He's probably been in those situations a little bit more. So put him in the game, but they're both going to punt. I'm actually putting in, a 3-punter. We're going to have Malik back there. We're going to have Caden Salter back there, and Aiden and Max, and they're going to have to guess which one we're punting, I guess.
Well, Malik can do a lot of things. If he can punt, too, I'm going to be really impressed.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprising if he could, to be honest with you.
He could probably get one off 20 or 30 yards.
No doubt.
We'll take questions here if anyone's got any for Special Teams Coordinator Tanner Burns. Damian from the News in Advance, go ahead.
Hey, Tanner, I brought this up to you this morning, but Alex Barbier posted on Instagram, one chapter closed, another one's being written. Has he closed the door on football, and are you moving forward, with Stricker and a couple other guys as kickoff specialists?
Yes, Alex Barbier has decided to move on from football. I wish him the best, but we're excited with the guys we have. We got some young specialists in here. Obviously, Jason Stricker's come in. I think he's hit 5 kickoffs. All of them been touchbacks. We want guys that want to be here. And if you don't want to be here and compete, then, it's your obligation to leave. I've got no ill will toward Barbier. He's a great kid. I love him as a person. He felt like it was the best decision for him to move on from football, so we'll support him however we can moving forward. But we're excited about the guys we have in the room and want to be in the room.
Let's go next to John from A Sea of Red.
Speaking of kicker, what about your, Braden Beck, the job he's performed over the past few weeks? What have you felt about his performance? Where you stand with him?
Yeah, Braden's done a great job. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities to make field goals in the game, but when he's gotten those opportunities, he's done a good job of it, making PATs. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, against ULM, that PAT to make it 21-21, that's still a big kick. It's an easy kick, but, in a pressure situation as a true freshman, a lot of guys could fold in those situations. But we're excited about him. He's done a good job. We almost had an opportunity to have a field goal in the first half to close out the first half last week. And then they froze us, and the wind picked up about 20 miles an hour, it felt like. So it was a heavy wind kicking in there. That's why we decided to move on and try to go for it on that 4th down. But we trust Braden, we trust whoever we got in there to do the job, and they've done a good job performing and doing their job so far.
Damian, do you have another one?
Yeah, I do. Tanner, I wanted to ask you about the kickoff returns. We've seen Shadro, we've seen Duran take kicks out of the end zone, and then, you get stuck, whether it be the 10, 15-yard line. Do those guys still have the green light for that, or are you trying to make sure you maximize field position? If it's deep in the end zone, just take the knee and then, get the offense set up at the 25.
Right. We're an aggressive kickoff return unit. I think we always will be. I think that's how you build confidence and a culture that you want on special teams. Obviously, you don't want to take them out if you're 7 yards deep in the end zone. So we got to get that correct. I got to do a better job coaching that. But we also, if that thing goes 107 yards, then, it's a great decision. You just kind of, those are things you got to correct. But if it's a big return, you live with it as well. And truthfully, on that one return, we're one block away from going 100 yards. But I got to do a better job of coaching those guys week to week. But the truth of the matter is we've got 2 kickoff returners that at any point, at any game, could flip the game and have taken multiple back in their careers, and we're going to not shy those guys away from doing so, but I got to do a better job. Obviously, if you can catch the ball, if you're 3 yards deep and you're catching the ball going forward, let's roll. If you're on your heels, backpedaling to the -7 in the end zone, it's probably not best for our football team to take that out, and we're costing our team field position. Luckily for that particular case, our team went 90 yards and scored a touchdown, so it wasn't an issue, but we don't want to put our offense in bad spots. It's hurt us earlier in the year against Syracuse as well, and we got to do a better job. I've got to do a better job coaching it and getting those guys right.
Tanner, DeMario told me a couple weeks ago he thought you guys were close to breaking one. What led up to that moment? And you always talk about wanting to be in a position to help this team win games. I mean, certainly couldn't have scripted it any better to do that this past Saturday.
Yes, sir. There's no magic kickoff return scheme. If you have good returners, you're probably going to be pretty good on punt return and kickoff return. If you don't, you're not. So you could scheme up. You'd have the best scheme in the country, but if I'm back there returning kicks, we're probably not going to be very good. DeMario, we've had more explosive returns than anybody in the country, but unfortunately we've got a lot of those called back for penalties. So we've done a good job, guys harping on it, not blocking behind the ball, high screen and all those things we work on. It was just the first time we've put it all together, as well as, this is the first time we've put 2 returners back there deep. Stubbs did a great job of kind of blocking most dangerous man downfield and helped spring them. But we've got 2, 3, 4 guys back there at each given time could crease it, and our guys believe in those guys back there, and they did a great job executing the call.
Last one from me. I know it was special for you on Saturday. You got to hug your dad after the game and have him be there to watch you coach a game for the first time. Take me through that moment.
Yeah, it's my dad. I don't make shy about it. He's my hero. He's the reason why I am here today. Obviously he's a great father, great role model for us, but I've got to see him live his life doing this. And he's been a college football coach or an NFL football coach, so every Saturday he's playing a game when I've been playing a game. Now that he's a head high school coach in the Fort Worth area, he was able to come watch me coach for the first time in my career of 8 years doing it. So it meant a lot to me to have him down there. Y'all don't know my dad, but I had him a ticket to the game, and obviously he snuck his way onto the field somehow, some way. That's just kind of how he's been doing it his whole life. He ain't gonna sit in the stands and watch the game, so he was down there. It meant a lot to me, and I appreciate those guys, kind of having my back on that deal, and it was kind of couldn't script it any better.